In this video, I'm going to show you how we find post-earnings trades. So we're looking for stocks that have announced after the close the prior day or before the open today. Before we do that, it's critical that you know what the market is doing. Everything I discuss, my entire system starts with the market. So I always preach market first, market first, market first. Every single day is different. Today, we happen to have a really nice market setup, and I'll tell you why. And that sets the backdrop for why these earnings plays are so powerful. You can make a ton of money, but you have to be very, very patient and you have to wait for that perfect market setup. So you can't just willy-nilly go in and do this every single day. You have to have that market tailwind. So here's how the market sets up. This is the SPY on a D1, a daily basis. You can see here that we've got a nice little uptrend on a daily chart. We also have a buy signal. This is the 100-day moving average, and this is the 50-day moving average. You can see how the market gapped up above the 50-day moving average, and that is significant. But it was going to instantly hit resistance at the 100-day moving average. So we needed to make sure that the market was able to get through that resistance level before we did anything. You'll also notice that there's a very powerful setup here. We have a buy signal and we have negative pressure on our pressure reading. That is what we call a divergence. This is super powerful and we look for it all the time. So as far as the overall market is concerned, we are all systems go. This is a 5-minute chart of the SPY, and you can see how it had been rallying and rallying early in the day, and then we had a sell signal here. Nothing too dramatic, nothing to really worry about. The SPY was in a compression. We had most time frames showing a bullish buy signal by our system on both QQQ and SPY. M5 went red just momentarily. So nothing to really deter us from doing any trades at this time. We just know that the market's run up, it's gotten through the 100-day moving average, it's compressing, so still looking good. What I wanted to do is I wanted to configure my custom search engine to look for these earnings trades. So I'm looking for option liquidity greater than 2. That is a very liquid option, easy to get in and out, tight bid-ask spreads. I'm looking for weekly options because I like to trade as short a term as possible on these earnings plays. I'm going to go with options that expire this week and maybe even in a few hours if I'm trading on a Friday. Stock is greater than the prior day high. So in this particular instance, I am bullish. I want to focus on stocks that are gapping higher because I want to follow that gap and I want to follow that momentum. To me, earnings represent disequilibrium. There's a price discovery phase that the stock goes through, and that takes time to filter through the market. And what that means to me is there's an opportunity. So I was looking for a stock that was greater than the prior day's high. This is just one of the searches I do for my earnings plays. And oftentimes for the stock to be able to take out that prior day's high, it has to gap through to be able to do that. So I'm also using a post-earnings search criteria in my custom engine. It will look for stocks that announced earnings before the open today or after the close the prior day. So this is the first opportunity that that stock has had to trade after announcing earnings. Next, I am looking for a buy signal from my system on a 5-minute basis. I'm doing this as a day trade. Next, I want to see relative strength relative to the S&P 500. Now, I will interchange these two search criteria, negative pressure and compression. I like both of these after earnings as well. So if I have that divergence, a buy signal, a negative pressure, oh, that's super powerful. But I don't want to be overly restrictive and I don't want to miss great trades because I've added this. So I run a separate search to see if I can find this combo. When we have 100 different companies announcing earnings, then absolutely I can be more selective and I can really hone in on this. Same thing with the compression. Stock has all the other criteria, buy signal, everything else looks good, and now it's compressing. Perfect. I want to buy when that stock breaks out of that compression to the upside. So these last two are certainly criteria that I do add, and I use them interchangeably in other searches. But for this particular search, I did not include them. But we'll see in the chart that I could have included them and I would have been just fine. So this is my custom search engine. So easy to configure. It is binary. So I have optimized every technical indicator across every time frame. So all I need to do is mark bullish or bearish. And in a second, the search will be conducted on our servers and the results will be returned almost instantaneously. Now, if I save this search in option Stalker, I can name it post earnings play, for instance. Then I can run that search and just have it run continuously, and as new candidates come up, I'll automatically see it in the option Stalker platform. Or if I want to, I can run searches and click scan and keep looking for stocks that come up. But it's nice to have this automated so that it continually refreshes, so that if a stock didn't meet the criteria before, but now it does, I'm going to see it instantly in that search. So there's my bullish trade signal on a 5-minute basis. There's my SPY relative strength on a 5-minute basis. My option liquidity greater than 2, 10 is the max. Post earnings is marked. So these companies have announced after the close the prior day or before the open today. It has weekly options and the stock is greater than the prior day's high. Click scan. Boom. There we go. Netflix fits the bill. So Netflix had gapped open. We had a buy signal on it, and the stock was very, very strong right out of the gate. Huge gap up. Then it starts compressing up near the top of the range here, and you can see how the stock was making higher lows. So we have an ascending triangle here. And we have a breakout to a new high. We've got a buy signal, and we have that super powerful divergence that I spoke of. So if I had added buy signal and negative pressure, it would have come up on that search. If we continue to go down here, you can see relative strength. It's above 0, so the stock has been strong relative to the market. The compression, it was in a compression, so I would have had to use a compression out bullish, meaning the stock was in a compression, and there's your compression right there, and the compression was resolved favorably to the bullish side. So there's a search for that, compression out bullish. But I didn't have that marked, and I didn't have relative strength marked, but I could see visually because I keep these indicators on my chart. The second that I saw it come up on the chart, or in the search, I clicked the chart, saw everything else line up, easy do. So those options at the time were trading at $6.50. And that was right off of that buy signal there. So the stock continued, there's the buy signal there. The stock continued to inch its way higher, and here you can see it got into a compression. We had a sell signal right here by the system, but really nothing to worry about because the stock did not pull back at all. And you can see that it had maintained its strength relative to the market right in here. So no reason to really panic out of the position. We're in here, basically the same level, and then we got the move higher. And you can see how the relative strength continued to push higher. Now up in here, you've got the stock starting to compress. You get a sell signal from the system, and this is probably the most important thing, is the relative strength started to wane right in here. So this was a good place to actually take profits on it. And so I went and got this reading right here. The options actually went higher. So I'm not picking the high of the day, but you can see they were trading in the $9.65 range, $9.50 at the time. This is a really nice winner. So you're in somewhere around 650 to $3 winner, $3 plus. It's a 50% winner in a day. But again, I cannot emphasize this enough. Market first, market first, market first. I knew the backdrop for this type of trade was very, very conducive for it. I had that strong tailwind. We were through the 50-day moving average on the S&P. We got through the 100-day moving average, so everything looks great. So if a stock comes up, it's posted earnings, and it has all of these criteria, I want in. I've got that tailwind to fuel the stock and push it higher, and the stock already has that discovery phase that it's going through. So it's just additional fuel to push these options higher. And so taking profits along the way is a very prudent thing to do. Very nice trade. This is how we trade post earnings. And when we have 50 or 100 different companies announcing earnings, this custom search engine is going to nail these trades. There are going to be days when we're looking for bearish trades. Exactly the same search that I use today will work on the bearish side, except you use the bearish counterparts. And if the market is in go-go rally mode, and we know we have that strong tailwind, then we're going to be looking for this similar search. So this is how we use the custom search engine in Option Stalker to find the pattern we trade. I hope you join us.